Charging iPhones, something we do daily, and of course it's really important. Unfortunately, every day we have to plug in our devices to charge, and what we do when we plug in our devices to charge and the way we do it has a huge impact on the battery life that we will get and the battery lifespan that we will get out of a device. You know that that's very important when it comes to iPhones. If it doesn't have a good battery health, it will have actually a huge impact on the performance of the device. That way you will have to service the battery before you can get the optimum performance out of your device. That's why it is really important to make sure that you don't do some of the most usual mistakes that people do when it comes to charging your iPhone. So in this video, we're gonna talk about 10 of the biggest mistakes that are probably killing the battery health of your iPhone. And first of them is wireless charging. Now, of course, wireless charging on itself, it's kind of cool. Sometimes it works, even though I never actually use it. But what's really important is that using wireless charging regularly, it will have a bad impact on the battery of your iPhone. That's because it will heat up the iPhone more. So the more heat the battery has, it will actually damage the battery more. That way, the battery health will drop a lot faster if you just charge with wireless charging all the time. Now, of course, from time to time, you probably will do it, but if you do that on a daily basis, it will have a very bad impact on the battery health of your iPhone. Next up is complete drain. Now, draining the battery of a device completely is never a good idea. You will see people that all the time run completely out of battery and their iPhone dies. Basically, that will have a very negative impact on the battery health, and in some cases, I know it's very rare that that will happen, but the battery in theory, might never turn on back again. So that's really risky. You don't want to do that. You don't want to drain your battery out all the time. Make sure that you always charge at least when the device is at around like 15 to 20%. Plug in your device to charge, even if you charge it just around 30 or 40. That's not bad at all. Just plug it in to charge and don't leave the battery to die all the time. And the charging port on itself is really important as well, because of course nowadays we have our iPhones everywhere with us, in your pocket, in your car, on a table somewhere, and it will collect a lot of dust, and maybe even like a metal piece or something like that might get in here, and that might have a really bad impact. And when you plug your device into charge, it might even damage the port or damage the battery itself. So what you want to do is make sure that you regularly clean the charging port of your iPhone. Now, probably the simplest and most easiest way to do that is using like a toothpick or something. Just make sure that you always face your iPhone face down like this, so when you're basically like scrubbing around here, it will fall down, the dust and all that will fall down. But just make sure that you be very gentle. You don't want to damage anything that's on the port. That's of course because it might just damage the charger, of course, and not be able to charge the iPhone anymore. Now, using your iPhone while charging, I know a lot of websites, a lot of people will say this, will say that it is bad. Well, it's actually not, but you gotta know what you're doing. So when it comes to batteries, lithium-ion batteries, the worst thing to them is heat and extreme cold. So you just wanna make sure that your iPhone is not overheating. So basically, iOS now has a feature that will actually stop charging when it's really hot, so that really works well. But what you need to make sure is that when you're using your iPhone and you're charging it, if you're just browsing around or maybe on your social media or somewhere, it's not a big deal if your iPhone is not heating up a lot. But if you're like playing a game or performing some heavy-duty tasks on your iPhone, that will have a really bad impact, and you will notice your iPhone will heat up a lot. That's why you should not do like any heavy tasks or just like game on your iPhone while you're charging it. Another thing to avoid when it comes to charging is maybe on a place where it's really hot, you're outside, or maybe you're in your car and your iPhone is really hot and you're plugging it to charge. That's really bad. Avoid doing that. Avoid charging your iPhone on really hot places. That will have a really bad impact on the battery, and of course, if you do that a lot, your battery health will go down extremely fast. Now, as you can see, it is basically something that I'm repeating all the time, and that's heat. Heat is the main battery killer of any device. And the next thing you should never do is charge your iPhone or plug it into charge where it's really hot. So let's say you go outside, your iPhone gets really hot, then you go inside and you plug it into charge without first leaving it to cool down for a few minutes. If your iPhone is very hot on a hot place, or you have been doing something on your iPhone, let's say playing a game, you're playing Call of Duty or something like that, and your iPhone gets really hot, just don't plug it into charge. Give it a few minutes until it really cools down, and then plug your device to charge. It will be much better that way. Of course, one of the main components when it comes to charging, one of the most important things, are chargers and cables. One thing to avoid, of course, as we all know, fake chargers and fake cables. Don't ever use fake chargers, fake cables on your device. They might just damage your iPhone permanently. Don't do that, and don't actually also use damaged cables. If you see a cable that's actually damaged, make sure you get a new one. It's way better that way. You don't have to risk your device for a cable which might actually damage the device and the battery itself. Now, we talked about not letting your iPhone's battery drain all the time. But what you should not do is also top up the iPhone's battery all the time. Now you can see this pattern right here, how the charge on my iPhone went here. I always try to keep it right here between 30 and 80%. And even according to Apple, that's the best way to go when it comes to charging your iPhone. So if you want to have a really good battery health on your device and keep it like that for a really long time, even though of course it's not possible, as someone says that you can keep it at 100% for a long time, that's of course just based on numbers and how the battery is on your iPhone, how many milliamp hours it has, because none of the batteries will be the same. But if you just want to keep it on a really good condition, just like this right here, you can go ahead and just make sure that you charge your iPhone from 80 until it drops to 30, maybe 25%, charged again to around 80. That's the best way to go. Of course, if you need it to be at 100% because maybe you're out for a long time and you won't have time to charge your iPhone, you can do that from time to time, but keeping from 25 or 30 to 80% is the best way to go. Now, another thing I would not do is keep the iPhone plugged in for a really long time. Now, if you're using something like a laptop or something like that to charge your iPhone, it might be okay, but if you keep it plugged in on a wall brick for a long time, it might damage your iPhone. That's because the charger might get damaged, even though the iPhone has of course built-in components and software that won't let the iPhone overcharge, as someone thinks it won't never overcharge. But keeping your iPhone plugged in for a long time, the charger might damage, and that way damage your iPhone as well. And last but not least is this right here. Using these really bulky cases on your iPhone while charging will also have a really bad impact. That's because this will heat up the battery a lot, and the battery is heating up and it's being damaged the time it's charging. So that's really bad, and this has been confirmed by Apple as well. Whenever you want to charge your iPhone and you want to make sure that you're safe, make sure if you use a really bulky case and you notice that your iPhone is getting really hot, just make sure you throw it away, and your iPhone's battery will be way better off being charged without having a case on, which again has a really bad impact. And it's probably one of the most common things that will happen. Most people will have a case on their phone, and that is actually having a real bad impact on their battery health. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Of course, don't forget to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you on the next one.